And I'm just going to be completely blunt. And if this offends anybody, I'm not sorry. Welcome back to another episode of Life, Recovery, and the Pursuit of Sanity. My name is Josh Logan. If this is your first time, go ahead and hit that like button, click that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss another episode. So in the last episode, I talked about the importance of close friends. And in that episode, I made mention about having relationships with your children. Now, I want to first and foremost tell everybody that I am not a professional. These are just my experiences. These are just the things that I have observed. They could probably be scrutinized by a psychologist, psychiatrist, a counselor, whoever. And that's not the point of these videos, to be completely and utterly accurate according to science. This is just my experience. And so having said that, the importance of maintaining a balance with the relationship with your kids is one thing I really do believe that a lot of people in recovery, a lot of people in general, you don't even have to be in recovery to fall into this category. I remember when I was younger, there's a couple sayings, kids need to be seen, not heard. Other times I heard, I'm your parent, not your friend. And to a certain degree, the first one is just an utterly stupid. I don't believe that in any way, shape, or form. Whoever come up with that crap probably hated their kids. And this is my opinion. For your kids to just be seen, not heard, takes away everything that makes them kids. I mean, honestly, let's face it, kids will be kids. They're loud, they're crazy, they make stupid mistakes, they say stupid things. That's just kids for you. Our job as a parent is to raise our kids up, teach them the ways that they should go, allow them to make mistakes, allow them to correct their mistakes in the comfort of a safe environment, which is their home. And then the other one was, I'm your parent, not your friend. And this is more along the lines of what I want to talk about, because to a certain degree that is true. I have 3 kids, amazing kids. I have been fortunate and blessed, but it hasn't come at such an easy thing. I relapsed onto methamphetamine, and I was unseen by my kids for almost 5 months, and that I know was difficult. And I thank God every day that my wife, in everything that she was dealing with, all the pain, the hurt, the sorrow, the emotional state that I had left her in, she was able to still allow our kids to be in a loving environment, to express their hurt and express their feelings. And so, and to this day, I have a very good relationship with all my kids. At least I think so. You ask them, they may say something different. I don't know. But all I know is that I think I have a good relationship with my kids, a relationship that, for the most part, they can share what is going on in their lives. And it's not to say that I don't always get upset, that I don't always get uncomfortable, that I don't always make a mistake and yell and scream and look like a complete moron and then have to apologize. I even had one time, this is how many mistakes that I made with my kids. My daughter, I'd gotten mad at her, and she didn't deserve it. I understand that now, but I got mad at her, and she cried, and I apologized. And her exact words were to me, "You always apologize. You keep on doing it." And I was like, oh, man. Oh. That one stung a little bit because I don't want to make them stupid mistakes. So where is the fine line? Because I could be that authoritative figure and you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you're not doing this, you must do this, you must do that. I could make a list of everything they can and cannot do. Or I could be this passive parent that just allows my kid to run wild and do whatever they want to do. And really, and I'm just going to be completely blunt, and if this offends anybody, I'm not sorry. But if you just let your kids do whatever they want, I question how much you actually love them. And that's really all there is to it. Granted, there's only so much you can do when they're old enough, but you are the parent. And your job as a parent is to train your children the way they should go, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially. And I understand there's every kid is different and every kid reacts differently, and so it's not just a cookie cutter thing that you read a book and now you're this wonderful parent. No, every kid is different, and every kid needs a certain level of discipline, a certain level of love, a certain level of this and that. And I will say this, how many kids are being raised without a father? And that, and I could get into some studies on that, and that's really one of the big deciding factors of how well a kid will do in life, whether he has a stable environment with a mother and a father who care for that child. And in this day and age, that's pretty hard to come by. It really is, and that's kind of a scary thing. But I'm digressing. I'm off the topic. Where's that fine line of having a relationship with your kid that is healthy for them, healthy for you, and healthy for the both of you? So when I first got clean, I wanted to be the nice parent. I wanted to be the cool parent. I wanted to do this and that because I had realized just how bad I had messed up and how badly I had hurt them. And I think there's a little bit of fear that they were going to hate me. And so I fed off that fear. And it wasn't necessarily what I was doing on purpose. It was just a natural thing. And then not to mention I missed them. And I was excited that I was able to spend time with them. But they would... I would share way too much with them. I would use them as sounding boards, and not on everything. I didn't share graphic detail, but I made a lot of mistakes. So my wife, and I'm hoping that she doesn't get upset with me over this one, but she was in a relationship with another person, and I was mad. I mean, because in my mind, I thought that when I got clean, she was going to say, "Oh my gosh, Josh, you're clean. Come here. Let's fix all this, and let's forget about the last 2 years of what you did, and let's forget about you cheating on me. Let's forget about you leaving me and talking mean things to me and threatening me and blah, 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 blah. And let's just work it all out." And that's really what I thought was going to happen. And it didn't, And so by the time I had gotten clean, she was in a relationship with someone else. And I hated this dude. I hated him. And so my kids would come over for their weekend with Dad. And, man, they would tell me about how this dude was over and Of course, they were trying. They were trying to impress me too. It was a two-way street. Man, I did not handle that well. They knew how much I despised this guy, and I think it bled off into them. And I think a lot of that bled off into their relationship with their mom. It stressed the relationship with their mom because they so badly wanted to have me in their life. And when they got me back, then it was, I want to do everything I can to impress dad. And so, and secretly too, whether they realize it or not, the absent parent is the one that is kind of the hero, and the one that is there enduring everything, cuddling with them if they cry, giving them baths, making them brush their teeth. They're the one that's always the mean person, the one that gets all the flack. And that's just kind of the way it is. So I made a lot of mistakes with that early in recovery, and I slowly learned over the course of my almost 7 years clean that, 2014, yeah, almost 7 years, sweet, yeah, July 15th, cool. But I learned over that time that the relationship with my kids is, you don't want to pin one parent against the other because you're doing it together. 2, you need to allow the child to express their emotion without getting your feelings hurt. Not everything is personal. And their minds don't know how to process information, especially when they're overloaded, especially when they're stressed, especially when they're upset, the way that an adult can. And so allowing them the freedom to express, even when they say always, or they say something stupid or mean, and I'm guilty of it, of reacting. I'm not saying I'm perfect. And this video isn't to say that I have it all figured out. This is just things that I have learned, things that I'm currently working on. My oldest son and me, we go round sometime. That kid has a way of getting under my skin with the things that he says that just kind of they just dig right into my heart. And there's a little bit of fear too that since he is adopted, that he'll just, screw you, dad. You're not really my dad. This other guy's my dad. And so some of that plays into it too. And I'm digressing again. But listening to your kids. And so I try to do this thing where, and I notice with my kids, as soon as they come home from school, if I try to talk to them during just at home, I don't get a whole lot out of them. How was your day? Good. You mean to tell me you went 6 hours throughout a whole school day and all I get is good? That's it? And so what I've learned is, if we go do something, so if I want to, I'm going to go to the store, let's go on a walk, they are more apt to express this is what's going on, and I don't always need to react. And so I'll there's certain times that my son has gone through things, and I'll be like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and throw this out there. Is this something that you want me to deal with, or are you just sharing this with me? And 9 times out of 10, he's like, I was just sharing it with you. I was like, okay, fair enough. But you can go to, but I tell them no. There's certain things that I tell them no, that they are allowed to do, not allowed to do. And I'm very open with my kids about the do's and don'ts, and not necessarily just, you can't do this. I explain why. Don't jerk off to pornography. Why not? Well, because it will lead to your objectifying women. It will lead to a bad idea of how relationships go, a bad idea of how intercourse goes. And it puts you in a much more vulnerable position to have bad relationships. And so sharing these things with your kids is of the utmost importance. I hate the phrase, I'm your parent, I told you so, go do it. I really don't like it. I can't stand when that is said, because to me, there needs to be a damn good reason why I have said I don't want you to do this. And if it's just a matter of me being completely annoyed, it's because I'm annoyed right now. I'm not in a very good mood, and I would really appreciate it to be stopped. And usually that will suffice for a while. If I'm always annoyed, then it won't. But so having conversation, allowing them to talk, and with the conversation one, you need to be able to have the tough conversations with your children. I tell my daughter that she is beautiful, that she is to be adorned, that she needs to be treated like the lady that she is, and for her to objectify herself. And I know this could probably piss off some people, but wearing a bikini that just covers up key television nude standards is not okay, in my opinion. Because whether you like it or not, men will be men, and they will objectify a woman if she gives them an opportunity to. Does that mean they have the right to do certain things? No. It under no circumstance gives any man the right or the excuse to commit heinous crimes against women. All I'm saying is that you do not want to allow yourself to be objectified. She is a strong, amazing young lady, and strong, amazing young ladies act the part. So having tough conversations, I talk about sex with my kids, what in a godly sense, a biblical sense, sex should look like, the dangers of drugs, not just the dangers too. There's a reason why people get high, and it's not just because it ruins your life. It feels good. It's amazing. One of the best feelings you're ever gonna have. There's no denying it. You can't sit there and say, oh, don't do drugs because it's going to destroy your life. And then the next person you see, oh, wow, man, they're doing drugs and look at their life. It's going great. That happens. But nevertheless, no matter who you are, the drugs will take control and they will ruin you. I don't care who you are. Some people, it just takes longer. For me, in my drug addiction, it don't take long for me to fall flat on my face and almost kill myself. It really doesn't. So having tough conversations, explaining to them why. We are a Bible-believing Christian family. And so when, like, my son, he was like, where did God come from? I'm like, well, I mean, I can't explain it to you in a way because I don't really know. This is what I understand. And sometimes you don't have to have an answer. And I don't know actually is better than a bullshit reason. It actually is. I don't know. Let me try to do some research. I try to do some research, and I can't find the answer. And I'm not saying, you can find the answer for anything you want if you look. But there's some things that are they're theory, they're based in faith, there's nothing actual factual. It's all dependent on what answer you're trying to get. The Big Bang Theory versus creation. I don't know. Nobody else does either, fools. If you're a Bible believer, you believe creation. Can you prove it? No. You're an atheist? The Big Bang Theory. Can you prove it? No. All theory. And sometimes that's just good enough. But never under any circumstance do you make the kid feel like an idiot for asking. And I know this is dragging on a lot longer. I didn't realize that I had this much on it. I feel somewhat very strongly with some of this stuff. So back to the point of relationships with your kids. Treat them good. Treat them like human beings. You are the parent, but you are also in charge of their well-being, emotionally, mentally, socially, spiritually. And your job as a parent is to raise them up in ways that were better than what you were. The life experiences that you learned, you pass down to your children. You don't make the same mistakes. You don't go from the far one side to the other. And we've talked about this in this channel, the ditches. You go from the super nice parent to the super authoritative figure, or the super authoritative figure to the nice parent. There's balance, and anybody that tells you they got it figured out and they have the answer and that they're doing really good, they're lying. Because we are all still figuring it out. I make so many mistakes. If people knew how many mistakes that I made in a single day, whether it be personally, in my head, with my kids, holy crap. The goal is to learn from your mistakes, to get better, to be better, to pass along that information so that the next generation... Oh, here's another thing too. And most people, I'll be really surprised if somebody can give me the word of the day. But I'm hoping somebody watches it to the very end, or at least listens to it to the very end. Let's see. What's the word of the day gonna be today? If you've made it this far, let's say parenthood. That's the word of the day, is parenthood. And so we like to blame kids for a lot of stuff. I see that, that you see these Facebook posts, these Instagram posts talking about millennials, and I think the new one is like alphas or some crap like that. I don't know. I don't even know where they come up with this stuff. I don't even know why they come up with this stuff, but whatever. It gives somebody a reason to live, I suppose, and funding for whatever. Seems silly to me, but whatever. But we want to blame the kids for the problems. The problem actually lies with the parents. So the next time you want to make fun of a millennial, don't. Because the Gen Xers are the problem with the millennials, and the baby boomers are the problems with the Gen Xers. And that's really all there is to it. Blame yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, because you are the reason why the generation is screwed up. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching this video. Share it. And just remember that I love you, and there's not a thing you can do about it. Until next time. That's all I'm saying. And I know this could probably be torn apart, and the liberal agenda and the leftist and Oh my gosh. Sometimes I just talk out of my butt. I don't know. So I'm going to have to edit that out.